Friday is here yet again, meaning we are now 7 Fridays away from the release of College Football 26, so we're going to continue our little preview series of who I think are going to be some of the most fun teams for you to use when that game finally drops. And today we're going to look at who's probably my second favorite Tier 4 team here in College Football 25. I think they're just slightly below BYU, but very, very close. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, in this game, they just have speed everywhere on their offense. I think if you take out the offensive line, the slowest player on their offense, their quarterback, 90 speed, Haynes King. They have a 91 speed tight end. They got a ton of 90 plus speed receivers. They got a great halfback. And projecting them forward to next year, they got a lot of those guys coming back, and the people they are losing, which there are a few, of course, they've done a very, very good job of filling those holes in the transfer portal. So let's just go over to the depth chart. I'll show you why I am so excited about using the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in College Football 26. Before we get too deep into the actual team here, I mean, just a real life note on Georgia Tech. They did finish 7-6 last year. They easily, some would say should have, I'll say could have, beat Georgia in that, 7 or 8 overtime game. Whatever, that game was crazy. All taking their timeouts. It took so long. But eventually Georgia did come out with that win, but they did beat Miami. They had some good wins. It seems like they're trending back in the right direction finally. So it wouldn't shock me if they make a little bit of noise in the ACC while also just being a super fun team to use, starting as pretty much always when we're looking at these teams. It starts with the quarterback, Haynes King, coming back for his senior season. And I mean, just looking ability wise here first, the option king, off platform, extender, and magician. Those are like two of the best abilities you can have on your quarterback. He's got both of them. And with almost every other quarterback we've talked about here as well, an unbelievable running threat. Like we said, he's got the 90 speed. Last year, he ended up with 125 carries, nearly 600 yards, and 11 touchdowns on the ground. So we can expect his speed to even go up a little bit more. And he was pretty dang good throwing the ball too. Only 2,100 yards. He didn't take all the snaps all season. He had some injury stuff going on, so he didn't put up the craziest counting stats, but still 2,100 yards, 14 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. If we keep his abilities what we have here, I'm not expecting a giant revamp of abilities. There might be a couple that get tweaked, but if we can mainly just keep extender and magician, get his overall up to around an 88, his speed up to a 92, and with his size, 6'3", 215, that is going to be a heck of a quarterback to start your offense with. And then pair him with Jamal Haynes. We got the Jamal Haynes King backfield working with the Yellow Jackets. And much like his quarterback, Jamal Haynes is also coming back for his senior season, sitting currently at 87 overall, 92 speed. But again, just like we saw with Haynes King, look at the abilities we have got already on Jamal Haynes. Again, just keep the abilities as they are for College Football 26, and this is one of the best backfields we've looked at yet. With your gold takeoff, silver 360, bronze sidestep, and the gold shifty is really the big one that makes him a really, really good halfback. And he had a great season last year too. 169 carries, 944 yards, and 9 touchdowns. So if we can get Haynes King up to like a 92 speed, let's get Jamal Haynes up to a 94 speed, and that is just a unbelievably dynamic 1-2 punch you are going to have in your backfield if you ever feel like testing out the Yellow Jackets. And he did sprinkle in 28 catches for 166 and 3 touchdowns as well, just for funsies. So just right with those first two, I'm loving what we're seeing out of Georgia Tech. Then we get to the wide receivers. You're going to have to bear with me for a second because this does look a little dicey on first glance, because we are losing Eric Singleton Jr., transferred to Auburn, 85 overall, 92 speed. Very, very disappointing to see him go. I think he's going to be a monster, and it's not even that he left, it's he went to Auburn. And if you don't know anything else about me, no, I do not like Hugh Freeze, so he's gone, which is too bad. Rutherford is coming back though, 86 overall, 91 speed, 5'9", 170 is a little bit small, but at least he's coming back, because it was looking like for a second he was in the transfer portal but then ended up withdrawing and is coming back to Georgia Tech. We are losing Lane. Blackburn is going to Georgia State. Stockton is returning though. So we do have the 90 speed Bailey Stockton, 91 speed Rutherford. Rutherford was also the team leader in receptions last year. He had 62, 702 yards, only 3 touchdowns on the season though. Singleton was the leading yard getter. I guess he was leading in receiving yards for Georgia Tech last year. He had 754, 56 catches, also 3 touchdowns. So losing him 100% gonna hurt, but I do think Rutherford is gonna get a boost up here. He should at least get up to 92, 93 speed, bare minimum. And Stockton, for being a freshman and only 70 overall, he did actually contribute a bit on the field last year. You know, not a ton. A freshman, you don't expect him to do a lot, but he had 17 catches, 206 yards, a touchdown. So if we can get him up to a 91, 92 speed with him in Rutherford, that's a good base. But this is what I was talking about during our little intro there, where Georgia Tech did a fantastic job of shoring up some of these holes in the transfer portal, at least in looking at the college football 26 landscape of things. How it'll translate to real life, I'm not entirely sure, but I know in this game this is going to work great. So they did bring in a guy from Bowling Green, Raheem Smith, but he doesn't appear to be in the game, so we can't really go look at him. But just a quick note on him, he did have 25 for 350 and 3 touchdowns through the air last year, and then also ran it 20 times for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns, so he could be a fun weapon to use if he's in the game next year. But looking at the receivers we are going to add, first we're going to go, trying to remember my directions, northeast, I believe, to Columbia, South Carolina, see who they're taking from the Gamecocks. And no, unfortunately, it is not Nick Harbor. We'll talk about South Carolina in a few weeks. They're going to be insane. But they are taking down here 72 overall, 94 speed with silver takeoff, DeBron Gatling. We had no real stats last year, so we can't project any sort of improvement for him year over year, but this is one just copy paste, put him on Georgia Tech. That's a speed that they desperately need at wide receiver with the guys they are losing, and the takeoff is a nice little cherry on top. So just adding him right there, now we got 3 receivers that should at least be 91, 92 speed, but they did not stop there. Now they went, this is definitely south, I don't know if it's west, or it's got to be southwest, because Columbia's, yeah, it's got to be southwest generally speaking, to Florida International, where Georgia Tech went and got absolute stud Eric Rivers. 87 overall, 91 speed on FIU last year. Had a monster season. 62 catches, 1,172 yards, 12 touchdowns for the Panthers last season. Take that with him presumably getting a boost just for transferring to Georgia Tech. I'm guessing they'll pay a little more attention to the bigger schools like that. If we can add a few more abilities on him, he could get up to 90 overall, 93, 94 speed, maybe a takeoff, maybe a sure hands, something like that. He's gonna be wide receiver 1 for Georgia Tech. Him and Rutherford are gonna be an unbelievable 1-2 combo. Then we got the speed coming from Gatling, got Stockton returning, and just like that, we have got a heck of a wide receiver room. They did add this Dean Patterson here as well, who also had a good season, but 80 overall, 85 speed. Not even if he does get increases. I know it says 79 overall here, but by his picture that you guys can't see because my face is in the way, it says 80. So, but he did have 50 catches, nearly 700 yards, and 7 touchdowns last season. So he could be a good security option. But overall, with those transfers, Georgia Tech's offense is going to be, they are losing one of the best weapons they had on offense. One of the hardest things to find is a really fast tight end. Avery Boyd and his 91 speed is going to be leaving. In fact, all your top 4 tight ends here are all seniors and all going to be gone. Boyd and Hawes were definitely the 2 big impact guys. Losing them is going to be tough. They combined 41 catches, 500 yards, a couple touchdowns. At least we do got Harpering coming back, so he's only 72 overall, but the 83 speed is nice. And they do have a transfer coming in from Wake Forest, Harry Lodge. He's 77 overall, only 79 speed, and didn't do a ton last year. He is 6'6", which is nice, but only had 12 catches, 110 yards, 0 touchdowns. So tight end is taking a bit of a ding. But I think the improvement on your quarterback, halfback, wide receiver room is going to get better. I think that's going to be more than enough to make up for it. Now, defensively, Georgia Tech's in kind of a strange situation because their defensive line and linebackers, honestly, not really going to be a whole heck of a lot worth talking about in terms of who they got coming back. Because just about everybody on this team is gone. Everybody with an ability except one D tackle with bronze grip breaker is off the team next year. But on the defensive line, they do have some pretty solid transfers coming in, going back to the SEC, this time going to Oxford and Ole Miss. They are adding D tackle here, Akello. I'm going to go with Akello Stone from the Rebels. Now, currently no abilities. He did get 1.5 sacks last year and 15 total tackles and somehow a pass defended. I'm assuming a screen pass of some sort. But adding just a little bit of help here to the defensive line is going to certainly help this team with how much they are losing in that spot. And then they also did try to get some edge defensive help here. First going fellow ACC mate, my pick to win the ACC, the Clemson Tigers. Right end, AJ Hoffler. Again, I mean, only 76 overall, 78 speed. Hasn't done a ton for Clemson, so I'm not expecting him to take some sort of big boost. He had 13 total tackles, 2 tackles for losses, 14 games played last year. But honestly, this position group is kind of just all hands on deck. Whoever we can get that might help, we will take it. And the next person they went and got from UTSA is going to do a little bit more than just help. Well, they will be adding Ronald Triplett from the UTSA Roadrunners with a silver quick jump. Thank goodness we're going to hopefully, I mean, assuming it's going to stay year over year, we're going to at least have one quick jump on this team. We're going to at least have one grip breaker on this team. And it should stay. I think he had 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 23 total tackles last year. I think Triplett should certainly keep that quick jump. Will plug in immediately as your new edge rusher with Georgia Tech. But then when you move to the next level in linebacker, it's pretty similar to D-line. Not looking ideal, but should be pretty solid. Like left outside linebacker, a bit of a disaster. We're sitting right here, 55 overall. Middle linebackers are pretty solid. Like Lightsy's coming back. He did get an interception last year, 83 speed. You could play him if you wanted to, but just a little too slow for me. Like I wouldn't be playing any of these linebackers, to be honest. They are adding Melvin Jordan, right outside linebacker from Oregon State, 81 overall, 82 speed. Played in 10 games last year, had 45 total tackles, 3 for a loss and 1 pass defended. But yeah, honestly, I'm just kind of skipping over linebackers here because I don't think they're all that important for Georgia Tech. Now, where they come swinging back with a force, though, is going to be the cornerback room, where, yes, we are losing Warren Burrell. That's difficult, but we are getting Harvey back, his 83 overall, 92 speed. We're getting Toby back, 6'2". 88 speed's not great, but if you're playing him in the slot, having that height is really, really good. Chandler is going to South Alabama. Stevenson, we do got coming back, another 90 speed option at corner. Shelley also coming back. This is the big one. Yes, he's only 5'11", so he's a little bit short, but 96 speed. That's an outside corner for me all day, every single day. Daniels is coming back, another 90 speed option for you in the secondary. Gibbs, jammer and blanket coverage is nice, but he's going to Kansas, so it doesn't really matter. And throughout this whole cornerback room, there were only 2 interceptions they got last season. 1 for Burrell, 1 for Harvey. So it's not like these guys were all studs in real life. We can't expect a whole lot of improvement on these guys year over year. But keeping Harvey with his 92 speed, keeping Shelley with his 96 speed, those are, for me at least, those are my 2 outside corners right away. We're pretty set there. But Georgia Tech was not set there, so they went back to the transfer portal. This time going to the Big Ten, heading up to Happy Valley. They went ahead and added John Mitchell, 5'11", 76 overall, 92 speed. Some more speed for that secondary. Speed just at every position. Now, he did only appear in 6 games last year. Didn't record any stats, so we're not expecting any sort of big boost year over year. But keep him at 92 speed. Good enough for me. I like what we're seeing. Then Georgia Tech decided, well, we're going to keep adding, and we're not going to go to the big boys anymore. We've done that plenty. Let's punch down a little bit, go to the MAC, and take somebody from Eastern Michigan. And we might as well just take their cornerback one, Daquan White, 77 overall, another 92 speed option for you in Georgia Tech secondary for college football 26. 30 total tackles last year, 1 for a loss, 6 passes defended though last year, had 12 the year before, so he does seem like a really solid corner. We'll see if he gets too much of a boost. Like I've said though with Georgia Tech, with what they even had coming back, we were pretty set. You had a 92 speed on the outside, you had a 96 speed on the outside, you had a 6'2" slot corner. For me personally, I'm good with that, but now we're adding 92 speed from Penn State, a 92 speed from Eastern Michigan. So if you want to run dime, you most certainly can. If you want to put one at safety, which we might have to, we'll see, you'll have the option to do that as well. So then there is one more, Kelvin Hill from UAB. He's a 69 overall, 90 speed in this game. He did play 12 games last year, 43 tackles, 5 passes defended as a freshman, so seems pretty solid. But with the low overall and the 92 speeds they got transferring in already, and the speed they have returning to the team, I'm not sure you're going to end up having to use him very often. All that said, let's just get to our last position group to review here, the safeties. This was a pretty solid bummer for me personally. Brooks is going to be gone. He's a senior. So long, buddy. But Seymour, the 94 speed free safety, transferring to Auburn, following wide receiver Singleton, which is really, really devastating to me. But they did, again, go back to the transfer portal here. First, they got a guy from Georgia State, listed as a cornerback in this game, listed as a safety on College Football Reference. I'm assuming, just by looking at this, that he is actually going to be a safety, so let's go take a look. Jaron Gilmore, 5'9", 180, so not a big fan of that size, but 76 overall, 90 speed, 53 total tackles last year, 2 for a loss, 2 interceptions, 1 pass defended. As much as I don't like the size, if we actually get an increase from him year over year, he gets up to even just a 90 speed, honestly. We have no options at free safety right now for Georgia Tech, so this could be our guy, but there is one more they got from Coach Prime himself in Boulder, Colorado, Savion Riley. Now this is more my kind of speed, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's a step slower, 79 overall, only 87 speed. And he didn't do a whole lot last year. Played in 9 games, only had 12 total tackles, 1 for a loss. So we're not expecting a big jump overall from him. But with the Georgia State guy, with all the other corners they got coming in, we will have people that we can put at free safety. Even if you just look at the depth chart, it's not going to look great right at the beginning. At all. We'll have options. We'll be able to figure it out. Our strong safety, we're not going to have that issue. Powell Lee is returning. 6'2", 76 overall, 88 speed. Absolutely love what we're seeing here. Franklin, another 88 speed option. He's actually transferring to Arkansas State. So worst comes to worst, you can move some corners to play at safety. You could have these safeties be your sub linebackers. You're going to have enough depth at corner. You can move 2 of those guys to safety, I think, without much of a problem, and still have a very, very good secondary here with Georgia Tech. So I do think overall wise, it is going to be similar to what we see with them this year, where offense is going to far outweigh the defense. But I honestly think with the secondary that they have, and if they get that triplet with quick jump coming into that defensive line, help make up for the loss of Romello Height, the defense is going to be more than serviceable enough to get the job done while your offense just flies all over the field. I'm very excited to see how Georgia Tech looks, and that is why I think they are a team you should try in College Football 26. I do hope you guys enjoyed this little preview. I will see you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.